Bold moves. What's the boldest decisions have you ever had to make? Husband and I decided to move across the country to a region we'd never spent time in. To a city we'd never visited for a new job. In the middle of moving, lockdown hit. So our house on the west sold and we were supposed to move to an apartment on the east while we looked for a house. All our stuff had been shipped already. We stayed on the west as long as we could, but 4 months later we had to move officially but didn't have a place. We bought our now house online. Without seeing it in person. In an unknown state. Unknown city. Completely unknown street. The first time we saw it was after driving cross country with our dog. A man was following me down an abandoned street. He changed directions to do so multiple times. I had no weapon and didn't know I could outrun him. I texted a friend where I was. What we were both wearing. What was happening. Instead of running, I slowed down to match his pace beside him and gave him a direct "I'll identify you in a lineup if I survive this" look in his face and said hello. How can I help you? And quat. He ended up stuttering some kind of excuse. Pretending he was going to the house we were passing he didn't have a key for. Then when I was far away he ran in the other direction. My bold move had to be while driving after I got my license, when I was driving with my grandma in the car. We exited the gated community and I was looking both ways multiple times. Just as I started to go, my grandma spotted a yellow Audi R8 that didn't seem to be slowing down so I could keep going or not get hit. So I decided to floor it. We'd be hit regardless. Right? Nope. The R8 must have slowed at some point because JT was behind us. Of course. It decided to cross the double yellow lines anyway. From that day on, I feared nothing from behind the wheel. Be 100% real RN. What do you guys think or feel when another guy calls you bud and quat? Feel like most people who view this term as condescending tend to have some level of insecurity to begin with. People's actions are more a reflection of themselves. Right? You can say anything you want to someone in a condescending manner. It's really the context, tone and body language that gives the message. Depends. Sometimes my uncle calls me bud. But it's usually like yo bud, or buddy sometimes, and then shakes my hand. He calls all his friends bud or buddy though, so it's kind of his style, I guess. There is a way of saying it that's like instigating or provoking the other person. By kind of making them seem small or not a threat. Like you can walk all over them. The same way some people use pal. My personal philosophy is to avoid confrontation as much as possible, so I try not engage with it at all. It depends on the context. Is it in a joking manner? Yay, that's fine. A boy and his dad? I accept that. It's bonding words in that context, at least it was for me. In a fight? Call me bud and your jaw is jacked. Being sarcastic, yeah okay bud, that's funny if it's friends or family. As I said, it depends on the context. Where I come from, the word bud can be nearly as universal as the word fuck. It can mean I'm happy to see you, long time, bud, or it could mean you're about to get your shit wrecked, oh yeah. Say that one more time bud. Confusion, bud. Excitement, holy shit bud and quat. It's a fine word to be sure. Just watch how you use it bud. Cautionary. For the men of Reddit. Do you still get attracted to other women even though you have a special someone who you love and are faithful to? It's like going to a restaurant. I don't suddenly love Mountain Dew less when I only have Coke products available. I'm gonna enjoy that Sprite. Not sure why we spend our lives trying to find a 100% compatible mate. When so many 80% relationships can be made to work. The whole you can only love one person at a time, that's just naive and immature. My old man says that goes back to a time when you don't mess with another guy's property. Let that sink in. Of course. There are many types of connection and not all will be with your so. How you handle it will be the decisive factor. We have grown an amazing connection over 20 years and there have been many external connections over that time. You don't need to act on them. Just strengthen your own. Not currently dating. But yes, I'd find other girls attractive. But there was still a sense of my GF is the best and like. Looking at a pretty face wasn't the same as looking at the pretty face of the girl I love who loves me back and who I have such a connection with. It is hard to explain. I still find attractive what I'm wired to be attracted to. But all other attraction was dulled and attraction to my GF was super heightened. In my opinion, I won't expect my so to suddenly block his sexual drive biologically because he's with me. If he tells me someone other than me is good looking, I might even concur with him. Gay men couple. Both into same kind of men. As long as he is faithful to me, I'm good. I'm a woman who's in a long-term relationship. I see it as, we aren't stranded on a desert island. Good-looking people exist. It's okay to appreciate someone's beauty. Women do it too. I just ask one thing: to respect me if I'm with you and don't be gawping like you want to leave me to chase after her. They not choose a political party side because they agree with bits and pieces of both? FYI, Democrats don't want to remove people's right to arm themselves. If you are in the middle, then you don't get it. Same. Mostly because choosing a side means you're more likely to make a decision based on what's good for your party than what's good for the general population. Which was the original point of government. Yup. I'm registered as an independent. Maybe a few years ago I would have been Democrat, but these guys are becoming degenerate. I don't pick a side because they are both insane in some way or another. Nobody seems to be able to find the happy medium. They are too busy hating each other to come to any agreement about anything. Nothing gets done anymore. I wouldn't mind a reset when it comes to politics. Just get everyone out and start with some fresh faces that aren't pushing stupid agendas because that's where the money comes from.